All right. So we're going to set up our file in InDesign for our modular grid exercise. So here we are in InDesign. I'm going to go new file up in the corner. And we're going to use, go ahead and set it up based on the assignment sheet. So who can tell me what size we need to be working in? What size should our page be?
8 by 8 inches.
All right, 8 inches by 8 inches. All right. And we're not doing facing pages. They're a single page. We're going to do one page. We can always add more. Right now, we're going to start with one. How many columns should our page have? Who can tell me?
I think it's 4.
That's right, it's 4. What should the margin be? Who can tell me what the margin should be? Someone we have, I'm sorry.
1/4 of an inch.
Okay. Quarter of an inch. So I'm going to get my little screen cursor thing so you guys can see. So 1/4 of an inch, and they're linked. That means it'll change all 4 together at once when you have this link. When you unlink it, you can change them separately. When you link them, they stay the same. I'm not going to set the column gutter right now. We'll do that a little later. So I have an 8 inch by 8 inch, one page, 4 columns, a 1/4 inch margin. And I'm going to say create. Everyone's page should look like this. How are we doing? Are we all having our pages look like this? Oops, I meant to hit the green button. All right. So here's our page. So it said we have 4 vertical columns with a 1/4 inch gutters. Oh, we didn't put our 1/4 inch gutter in. So let's go ahead and do that now after the fact. So we're going to go to layout, margins and columns. And go over here, and you can see it's exactly like when we set it up. It was a 1/4 inch margin, 4 columns, but we need to put our gutter in. And our gutter, according to our project sheet, it needs to be a 1/4 inch. So now we have our 1/4 inch gutters, our 4 columns, and our 1/4 inch margin. So arrange the text below on the modular grid and the baseline grid. So we need to have a baseline grid. And this is the baseline grid is based on what? What did we just talk about in our grid lecture? What do we make our baseline grid based on?
The leading.
The leading. Okay. So let's figure this out. We know we have to use what size type in this assignment?
8.
Okay. And it says to set up the baseline grid at what size? Number 3 in the assignment
11
is
points.
what? Yes. So you're going to go to InDesign Preferences. Grids. The very first one is baseline grid. So a couple things to be aware of. It's going to say the default is start at a 1/2 inch. We do not want that. You want to start at 0. relative to the top of the margin. Increment every is your leading. So 11. And then lastly, view threshold is 12.5. And that's going to give us, it's a very low number, and you can pull it down too. It's a pull down here. There's a 12.5%. And that's because we want to see our baseline grid the whole time we're designing. The higher the number, the less you can see it unless you're zoomed way in. We want to see it all the time. You can make your baseline grid any color. The default is light blue, but if you click there, you can choose and make it any color you want. I'm fine with it being light blue. I'm kind of used to it. It's just the default, but you can make it any color. You want to make it so you can see it though. So don't make it like white, you know, or light, too light, you won't see it. So definitely make sure it's a color you can see. And then lastly, I want you to be aware when we're setting up our baseline grid, there's a button down here that says grids in back. And that's usually what you want. Unless, of course, you're designing something that you're putting your type on top of a picture or a box of color. Then you're going to want your grids on top because the picture or the box of color will cover the grid. So usually you want it to, it's the default is in back, but there's times when you want the grids on top of something that you have in your background. So that's where you would check and uncheck that. I'm going to say, okay. And now you might be saying, wait a minute, my page is still blank. I don't see anything. That's because we have to turn it on. So we got to go to view, grids and guides, show baseline grid. And once you click that, voila, you should have a baseline grid. Are you all with me? Check our messages here.
Mine is
This
going
is-
like outside of the boxes.
Okay, and that's because you didn't make choose it to stay within the margin. So go back to your preferences, grids, relative to top of margin. This is going to be due on Monday. I had a question, when is this due? It's going to be due Monday. So for those of you who are, if you don't have InDesign on your computer, definitely get it on your computer. We'll need it for this assignment and every assignment moving on. So, did someone say something?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I cut out. I didn't see the horizontal line.
The baseline grid. Did you make the baseline grid? You're saying?
Can you record this?
Hello?
It is being recorded.
Yeah, I didn't see how you made the horizontal lines.
Okay, it's called the baseline grid. And I'm showing you right now. I'm going to show it for the third time. Preferences, grids, baseline grid is the first choice. You want to start at 0, relative to top margin, increment every 11 points, that's your leading, and view threshold 12.5%. Once you've
You're
done
cutting
that,
out again for me.
can you see the screen? Can you
Yeah,
see the
but
screen?
I don't know how you got to that.
You're going into InDesign, preferences, grids. Can you see that?
I don't have that portion that says InDesign.
For me, it's under edit at the top and then It's the last one for preferences.
You can also do Control K to get to your preferences.
Thank you. You're right. If you're on a PC, it is under edit. It's different than the Mac. Thank you for referencing that. Did you get it, Cooper? Control K. Cooper? Are you guys hearing me, or are you not hearing me?
We can hear you.
You can. Okay, thank you. It might just be his internet, maybe. Okay, I'm going to keep going. We are recording it, so we can definitely always come back and see it. So if you are on a PC, you have to go to Edit, Preferences, Grid. Okay. Once we're here, you need to go to View, Show Grids to see it. It won't show up unless you tell it to. And that's so that you can turn your grids on and off as you're working, because when you're getting a lot of things on a page, it can be a bit much. So the idea is that you can turn these on and off as you're working.
Hello?
But for this part, we're going to be keeping those grids on. Yes, Cooper? Can you, did you find it?
Hello?
Yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I think you might be having some internet
I
issues,
got kicked
Cooper.
out of the meeting and I missed.
Okay, it's being recorded. I'm going to keep
Yeah, but
going.
it's like it keeps.
I'm having a hard time hearing you. I think you're having some internet issues. We'll have some time, some work time. I'll go through it with you again before we finish. Okay, Cooper?
I got
So
kicked out again.
okay. I will make sure, we'll make sure we get you reconnected in, okay?
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. So once we are here at this point where we have our grid, the next thing is we need to make our modules. And so a couple things. There is a ruler on this side of the page. How do you get your ruler is Command R. Turns them off and on. You see that? So you want to make sure your ruler is showing. Okay. We're going to use the ruler because when you pull down, click on the ruler and pull down, you can pull down a guideline. Okay. Right now you're going to see my guideline is blue, just like my baseline grid. I'm going to go in and change that in preferences again. So this time in preferences, I'm going to go to guides and pasteboard. Nope, units and increments. It's units and increments. I'm going to go to units and increments. No, it's not. It must be guides. Hold on a second. I have to remember which color is which. I want to say. Let me think here for a second. What color?
Are you looking for the settings for the rulers?
Yeah, I want to have the color of the ruler guides to be a different color.
You can go to, let me see,
What am I missing?
go to layout. And then it's
Ah, ruler guides. There they are. Thank you. Thank you. I forget. And they move things around, ruler guides. That's right. So let me show you again where that is. That's layout, ruler guides, not in preferences. I don't know why it's not in preferences. To me, this is a preference. But whatever, they get it. It's the same color. It's a blue, just like our baseline grid. What I like to do, especially when we're using a modular grid, is I like to make it a bright color. So I'm going to go with orange and leave it at the 5% threshold and say okay. So now when I click a guide down, it should be orange, although I don't see it turning orange. Let's try again. No, it's not turning orange. Okay, let's see what's going
You
on.
have to let go of it in order for it to be orange. Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, it went back. I said okay. Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, okay. All right, so yeah, you do have to let go of it because it's going to highlight blue. There it is. Okay, so you want to make it a bright color so that you can see it against these group baseline grids. Did someone have a question?
Yeah, sorry. So I did the layout and the ruler guides, but it's not showing the orange. Let me try this again. Hold on.
Let go. I had to do it twice. For me, it didn't do it the first time for whatever reason. Try it one more time.
No,
It's
like it showed. Okay, so I dragged a ruler line down first, and then I went to layout ruler guides, and I changed it to orange. And that one changed to orange, but as I dragged a new one down, it didn't change to orange. It was still blue.
click off of it on the side of the page and see if it turns orange. So like when I'm clicking down, it looks blue, like if you can see my screen. And then when I have to click on the side of the page for it to turn to orange. In other words, I have to deselect it.
I did that. Am I able to share my screen real quick?
Yeah, sure. 1 second.